Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's weekend reflections on this Saturday, the 21st of February 2026. I hope you are well wherever you are tuning into this from. And today we're going to continue our study of life and leadership lessons from Surah al-Kahf based upon this book by Professor Dr. Hassan Mohi-ud-Din Qadri. We've nearly finished the book actually. We're on page 205. And we're going to be looking at verses 100 to 110 now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The mockery of disbelievers and the reward of the righteous. Verses 100 to 110 provide insights into the consequences of disbelief and the rewards for faith. On the day of judgment, hell is depicted for disbelievers who, due to negligence and ignorance, failed to remember and heed God's guidance. Leaders can learn lessons about the importance of fostering an environment that encourages mindfulness and reflection, ensuring that individuals under their guidance are not spiritually neglectful. The verses emphasize the futility of seeking false guardians apart from Allah. Leaders should encourage their followers to place their trust in the principles of righteousness and not be misled by misguided influences. Verses 103 to 106 highlight the significant losers who, despite their efforts, lose their way in worldly pursuits. Their disbelief in divine signs leads to a lack of accountability for their deeds. I should stress here, where it mentions worldly pursuits, that does not mean normal work, normal jobs and things. It means that people get so completely lost in that they lose who they are in the process and what they're here for. Leaders should guide their teams to prioritize meaningful and impactful endeavors, avoiding actions that may seem productive in the short term but lack true substance. It emphasizes the importance of ethical leadership, as those who mock divine messages and messengers face consequences. Leaders should cultivate a culture of respect and understanding within their organizations. Verses 107 to 109 portray the contrast between the disbelievers and the believers who, through faith and righteous deeds, are promised the best gardens of paradise. Leaders can inspire teams by highlighting the rewards of ethical and diligent work, emphasizing the importance of both belief and virtuous actions. The metaphor of an endless ocean of ink for the words of Allah underscores the vastness of divine wisdom. Leaders should foster a culture of continuous learning and exploration, recognizing the limitless potential for growth. Verse 110 emphasizes the humanity of the Prophet and encourages righteous deeds to meet with Allah. Yeah, okay. Leaders can relate to their teams by acknowledging their humanity, fostering empathy, and creating a collaborative environment. So creating that kind of friendly, still disciplined, but friendly environment that's respectful, appreciative of your colleagues. So it's very important. Encourages leaders to motivate their teams towards a higher purpose, emphasizing the importance of ethical conduct and the rejection of associating partners in the worship of Allah. In summary, these verses provide religious insights into the consequences of disbelief and the rewards for faith, while also offering leadership perspectives on fostering mindfulness, guiding teams towards meaningful goals, and cultivating ethical leadership, promoting continuous learning, and creating collaborative and purpose-driven work environment. Here are some additional lessons from a religious and leadership perspective. 1. Fostering mindfulness encourages a culture of reflection and mindfulness within an organization. Leaders should strive to create an environment that allows individuals to connect with their values and purpose. This is also important. I mean, if you've got a company or you've got an organization, respecting your workforce and encouraging them to feel fulfilled in their work. So they remain true to their values and ideals and beliefs and are mindful. It will actually make them much more motivated. So they are likely to contribute more to the company or the organization than if they are, expected to work like automatons. Two, guiding towards meaningful endeavors. Leaders should guide their teams to pursue endeavors that have a lasting impact and substance. They should emphasize the importance of quality over quantity, steering away from actions that may appear productive in the short term but lack true significance. And that is something that sometimes, when we've got short term goals, we tend to look at, what's the next margin going to be for the next quarter? Or, what we're going to make in a very short period of time, what we're going to have this month or next month. Um, and yes, these things are important in order to make ends meet. But at the same time, even then, within a business sense, are we focused too much on the short term and missing out on what we should be focusing on long term that will actually lead us to greater success, even greater prosperity and success in this world, let alone, possible spiritual benefits too, if they're good stuff. Three, cultivating ethical leadership. Leaders should promote ethical conduct within their organizations. They should foster a culture of respect for diverse perspectives and avoid mockery or disrespect towards core beliefs or values. Four, inspiring through rewards and consequences. Highlight the rewards of ethical and diligent work, illustrating the positive outcomes for those who believe in and carry out righteous deeds. At the same time, leaders should inform individuals of the consequences of unethical behavior. And of course, unethical behavior often has consequences here in this life. I mean, we've seen what's happened to, certain very high profile individuals in the past year or two. As a result of what? As a result of unethical behavior. A lot of unethical behavior, it's either criminal or it's verging on it. Even if it's not criminal, it's very much frowned upon by people in general. God gives us good guidance, not just because he wants us to go to heaven, but also because that's good guidance for the most part here on earth. It actually benefits us in very real ways if we take these lessons on board. Five, continuous learning and exploration. And again, this is another one, continuous learning and exploration. This is something that is now emphasized, in many places, nothing to do with religion, but simply people recognize the benefits of continuously learning and updating your skills. Emphasize the limitless potential for growth and learning. Leaders should foster a culture of continuous learning, encouraging curiosity and exploration among team members. And of course, if you encourage curiosity, what does curiosity encourage? Curiosity encourages creativity. And creativity is often where your product, if it's developed in a creative way, will distinguish itself from its rivals, either your product or your service. So these are very important things in a practical way. Six, acknowledging humanity. Leaders connect with their team by acknowledging their own humanity. This fosters empathy and cultivates a more collaborative and understanding work environment. Don't expect your human workers, your human colleagues, to behave like robots. Don't just issuing them orders and telling them, do this, do that, do something else, and not understanding that maybe they have some challenges or difficulties. Maybe, you're asking them to do something that they've not been fully trained for and expecting better results than they can give until they've been fully trained. Acknowledging that humanity, acknowledging they might have some personal difficulties that in general will not affect them, but they might be affecting them that particular day. Maybe they've had a relationship breakdown, or their child is ill, or someone else in their family. Having that humanity and understanding that, okay, they're underperforming that day, but why? Why are they underperforming? Maybe there's a very good reason for it. Maybe with a bit of support, they can come back in a couple of days and be back to, their normal performance level. But if you upset them or don't support them, then they will take longer to achieve that, or they might even leave. 7, motivating towards a higher purpose. Inspire team to pursue a higher purpose. Leaders should highlight the importance of ethical conduct and encourage individuals to perform righteous deeds that align with the greater goal. 8, consequences of disbelief. These verses highlight the severe consequences of disbelief. From a religious perspective, individuals should be mindful of their faith and avoid negligence, which may lead them away from Allah's guidance. 9. Priority of righteous deeds. Emphasizes the priority of righteous deeds over worldly pursuits. Believers are encouraged to focus on actions that align with the divine principles, recognizing the temporary nature of worldly achievements. We should certainly strive in this world to achieve things, but it's always worth putting things into perspective. Each of us has short lives. We're only here for how long? We're only working at a particular company maybe for 5 or 10 years if we're lucky. How much have we achieved in that period of time, and what of those achievements are going to last? That's not a reason not to achieve, of course not. But at the same time, we should certainly keep things in perspective and recognize that we are not just a mechanic or a scholar or a teacher or whatever our job is. We are a human being. We are a soul that was sent to this earth by God, dressed in this body, but we are more than simply a job role. Oh, I'm being asked, do you have a website? Yeah, if you go to paulsarmstrong.com, that's my website. You've got the link on my YouTube, actually. Faith and trust in Allah. Accountability. 10, accountability and divine justice. The concept of accountability and divine justice is prominent. Believers should understand that their deeds, whether small or large, are meticulously recorded, and justice will be served on the day of judgment. 11, faith and trust in Allah. Encourages believers to place their trust in Allah and not take false guardians apart from Him. This lesson emphasizes the importance of unwavering faith and reliance on divine guidance. 12, promise of reward for the righteous. The promise of the best gardens of paradise for those who believe and perform righteous deeds serves as a source of hope and motivation for believers, emphasizing the rewards of steadfastness in faith. 13, endless wisdom of Allah. The metaphor of an endless ocean of ink for the words of Allah signifies the vastness of divine wisdom. Believers should recognize the depth of knowledge available and the importance of continuous exploration of their faith and also of all fields of knowledge. This is symbolic of the fact that the universe is vast and there are so many things that we don't yet know about it. And if we keep studying, then we will learn stuff that could perhaps be useful and beneficial for us. 14, rejecting association with Allah. Believers are reminded not to associate partners with Allah in worship. This lesson underscores the importance of maintaining pure monotheism and avoiding all forms of polytheism or idolatry. These verses offer leadership lessons focused on fostering mindfulness, guiding towards meaningful goals, promoting ethical leadership, inspiring through rewards and consequences, encouraging continuous learning, acknowledging humanity, and motivating towards a higher purpose. Simultaneously, they convey religious teachings concerning the consequences of disbelief, the priority of righteous deeds, accountability, faith, and trust in Allah, the promise of reward for the righteous, the infinite wisdom of Allah, and the rejection of associating partners with Allah. think I will continue on a verse by verse reflection next week, and we will leave it there for today. If anybody's wondering, this is the book, Life and Leadership Lessons from Surah al-Kahf, by Professor Dr. Hassan Mohi-ud-Din Qadri. It was published last year. Very interesting book. I wish you all a very good evening and a wonderful weekend. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you find these videos and my other contents useful, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link on my channels. And if you can support that link, you will help me to focus on producing more content. And you will also get a share of the blessing in doing so. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.